said to be an evil spirit denied rest after death. The Boo Hag is no ordinary ghost. It is a twisted, skinless being, its flesh raw and red, moving like liquid shadow under the cover of night. Devoid of its own skin, the Boo Hag preys on the unsuspecting, slipping into homes unseen, driven by an insatiable thirst for life. Boo Hags are known for one particularly sinister trick. They borrow the skin of the living. When night falls, they seek out their victims, crawling into bedrooms as silent as death itself. The hag hovers over the sleeping, choosing its prey with an unholy patience. When it finds its victim, it peels away their skin, wearing it like a grotesque disguise. In this borrowed skin, the Boo Hag goes out to ride, blending among people by day, feeding off the energy of the living to sustain its unnatural existence. For those haunted by the Boo Hag, waking up is no relief. The hag's touch drains vitality, leaving victims weak, their skin pale, as if life itself has been siphoned away. Some survivors report waking with an inexplicable sense of dread, their bed sheets soaked with sweat and a lingering feeling that something had been there, watching, hungry. But the Boo Hag has weaknesses, and the Gullah people share warnings for protection. To keep a Boo Hag at bay, one should leave a broom by the door or scatter salt or rice. They say the hag is compelled to count every grain, becoming so obsessed with the task that it loses track of time and must flee before dawn. If caught in daylight, the Boo Hag is trapped, unable to return to its lair before the sun's purifying light burns it away. The most terrifying warning, though, is this. If you wake in the night, feeling short of breath, and sense a shadow hovering close, don't move. Don't open your eyes. The Boo Hag knows when it's been discovered, and if it feels threatened, it won't hesitate to silence its victim forever, pulling them into a world of endless darkness. To this day, the Gullah people whisper of Boo Hags, urging caution to all who dare listen. For the Boo Hag is always seeking, always waiting for its next ride, its hollow eyes ever watchful, its red, skinless body creeping through the shadows in search of fresh skin. So, as night falls, be wary, because once the Boo Hag finds you, escaping its grasp may be impossible. Silent halls of Rainham Hall in Norfolk, England, a chilling figure is said to linger. The Brown Lady, a ghostly apparition clad in a faded brown gown. She drifts through the darkened corridors, her presence felt in the sudden chill that fills the room, a sensation so bone deep it leaves an icy imprint on the soul of anyone who crosses her path. For centuries, tales of her restless spirit have haunted Rainham Hall, each story more spine-chilling than the last. The Brown Lady is believed to be Lady Dorothy Walpole, whose tragic end left her spirit bound to the hall. The story goes that she was locked away by her jealous husband, condemned to spend her days alone, and she eventually succumbed to despair and illness, her life extinguished is said. Her eyes are nothing but dark voids, empty of life, drawing those who meet her gaze into an endless sorrow. Her brown dress, old-fashioned and tattered, seems almost to meld with the shadows, making her a faint, flickering figure who vanishes as suddenly as she appears. One of the most infamous sightings occurred in 1936, when photographers from Country Life magazine captured a hazy, spectral figure descending the grand staircase. The photograph, grainy and eerie, shows her drifting down the stairs, her form nearly translucent yet unmistakable. This image became one of the most well-known ghost photographs in history, cementing the Brown Lady's terrifying legend. Visitors and staff at Raynham Hall still report encounters with her cold, haunting presence. Doors creak open without reason, and the echoes of footsteps are heard when no one is there. Some say that late at night, a faint figure can be seen moving slowly down the staircase, her shadowy form slipping away before she reaches the bottom, as if forever trapped in a sorrowful descent. The legend of the Brown Lady endures, a chilling reminder of loss and entrapment. Those who dare to visit Raynham Hall are warned to be vigilant, for a glimpse of her ghostly form is enough to haunt them for a lifetime. In the heart of Iowa City's Oakland Cemetery stands a figure cloaked in darkness and mystery, the Black Angel, a towering bronze statue that looms over the grave of Teresa Feldwert. Erected in mourning, the angel's darkened form and unsettling gaze quickly became the source of fearful whispers. Legend says she is cursed, a silent harbinger of death, watching and waiting for those who dare to defy her silent warning. By day, the statue is imposing, her massive wings stretching wide, casting shadows over the graves below. But as night falls, her presence shifts from solemn to sinister. Those who have dared to visit her after dark claim to feel an intense, bone-chilling cold radiate from the statue, as if death itself were reaching out. They say that anyone who dares touch the angel at midnight will suffer misfortune, illness, or worse, death within days. Some claim to have seen her eyes glow faintly, an unnatural, haunting light that pierces through the fog, as if the angel herself is peering into the souls of those nearby. A few witnesses swear that her wings have moved, rustling slightly, and her hands seem to reach out, fingers stiff yet desperate, as if she longs to pull the living into her cold, stone embrace. Teenagers once dared to kiss the feet of the angel, testing her rumoured curse, but tragedy followed. Accidents, inexplicable illnesses, and even untimely deaths plagued those who tried to defy her legend. Her presence, they say, is more than mere stone. It is a shadow of sorrow and vengeance, eternally bound to the cemetery. Today, locals avoid the Black Angel at night, believing she still harbours a dark power, and if you stand before her, feeling her hollow gaze settle upon you, remember, her curse awaits anyone brave or foolish enough to challenge her. woods near Leicestershire, a creature of nightmare prowls, Black Annis, the dreaded blue-faced hag. Cloaked in darkness, her gnarled face is stained a haunting shade of blue, her iron claws gleaming with a terrifying sharpness, honed from years of hunting in the dead of night. Children and townsfolk alike know the tales of her hunger, a twisted craving for human flesh that sends shivers through the village. Black Annis hides in a cave carved from the rocks by her own jagged claws, a lair littered with the remains of her grisly feasts. Animal bones, and some say human bones, line the ground, while the chilling stench of decay fills the air. As dusk falls, she slinks from her den, her clawed hands scratching along tree trunks, leaving deep gouges in the bark. Her piercing eyes, dark and unforgiving, scan the surroundings, searching, waiting. She has a particular taste for children, her long, spindly fingers reaching out to snatch any who wander too close to the edge of the woods. Many parents tell their children tales of Black Annis, warning them not to stray after dark, lest they become her next victim. They say she hides beneath beds or crouches outside windows, her twisted grin visible just beyond the glass, savouring the fear of those trapped inside. Sometimes villagers claim to hear her unearthly wails in the wind, a bone-chilling howl that pierces the night. They say it's her call, a twisted lullaby that drags the unwary toward her grasp. On moonless nights, her figure can be seen creeping through the shadows, her blue face glowing faintly, iron claws poised to strike. Today, the legend of Black Annis still haunts the children of Leicestershire, a ghastly spectre lurking at the edge of nightmares, waiting to snatch anyone who dares defy the tales of her insatiable hunger.
Late one stormy night, a teenage babysitter named Sarah sat alone in the darkened house, listening to the quiet breaths of the children sleeping upstairs. The air was thick with silence, only broken by occasional creaks echoing through the empty hallways. Suddenly, the phone rang, slicing through the silence like a knife. She jumped, her heart pounding as she answered. A low, gravelly voice whispered, "Have you checked the children?" Startled, Sarah shook off the unease, assuming it was a prank call. But the phone rang again, the same voice repeating, chillingly deliberate, "Have you checked the children?" An icy dread seeped into her bones. She slammed the phone down, but the relentless calls persisted, each one taunting her, each one making her feel more trapped, more exposed. Finally, she dialed the police, and they promised to trace the next call. Moments later, the phone rang. She picked up, and the whisper came again, "Check the children." The line clicked. Then the police came through urgently. "Get out of the house. The call is coming from inside." A scream caught in her throat as she bolted for the door, but a shadow loomed at the top of the stairs, watching. In that moment, Sarah realized she wasn't alone. The door creaked open just an inch, her only escape blocked by the flickering figure that descended, step by slow, ominous step. call it Alexandria's genesis, a mutation whispered about on dark corners of the internet, a genetic gift or perhaps a curse that transforms its carriers into something almost beyond human. Those with this mutation are said to possess eyes of an unnatural shade, a deep, almost glowing violet that seems to pierce through your very soul. These eyes are not merely beautiful, they hold an ancient knowledge, something that feels off, something that hints at a reality beyond what we understand. The carrier's skin is pale, almost shimmering, as if reflecting moonlight, and they lack the imperfections of humanity. No body hairs, no aging spots, nothing but flawless, smooth skin that remains untouched by time. For women, there is no menstruation, but they remain fertile, a cruel and paradoxical defiance of the natural world. It's said that those who have seen them can't shake the feeling that there is something distinctly cold about their presence, a detachment from the world that makes them seem almost spectral. There are those who claim to have met someone with Alexandria's genesis. They describe encounters with people who seem ageless, their eyes too intense, their manner too calm, as if they were only pretending to be human. Rumors say they live for centuries, watching silently as the world changes around them, untouched by the march of time, their violet eyes betraying no hint of emotion. The real fear is in the unknown, what they want, why they hide, and how many there are. When you stare into their violet eyes, you might feel it, the unsettling sensation that you're not looking at a person, but at something else entirely, something that sees you as no more than a brief flicker in the eternity they have already seen and will continue